Welcome to my latest video where I'll be taking you out to do some sailing with me on legal action. A couple of months ago I took part in my first club race in legal action and things didn't exactly go to plan. So before the sailing, I'll be explaining a little bit about what happened and how I've felt about the collision since. Hi, welcome back to Donna Sailing. Thought I would just jump on here and talk a little bit about my collision that I had back at the end of August in our club regatta. So it's been, about a couple of months now. And I think at the time I was a bit shaken up by it. I think I didn't realise how nervous I was until I actually went back out on my boat. Technically, it was my fault. The others had right of way. And I just didn't see them coming, I guess. It was a beautiful day. Um, not a cloud in the sky, really low winds, and I thought, well, I'm not ready for this. But what could possibly go wrong? I had my number three Genoa up, which is huge. I was on a port tack and coming up to the start line. So it was really to say the can was there. We were doing kind of a sharp turnaround, which again shouldn't have done that. Should have really went up and come down on a starboard tack. So so yeah, we were just coming onto like over the start line, and then as my Genoa moved a bit, I just saw another boat coming. And I'd say either it was me or someone, because it all happened so fast. But yeah, me and someone else both had the tiller and just turned to port as fast as we could. But by then it was too late. So I was sat near the stern because I was on the helm. Their bow went into my stern, and it caught in my on my backstay. The anchor caught on my backstay, so they kept going. So if you can imagine, like that was the back of my boat. They were there, and they just sort of dragged us along. One of the people on the boat, he just ran, and I don't know how he did it, but he literally just pulled the anchor off my backstay, and that set us free, luckily. Thankfully, my boat is fractionally rigged. It's got a very bendy mast, because I think had it not been fractionally rigged, it could have possibly pulled my mast off. And then I still stayed. I was a bit shook up, but I still stayed. I finished the race. No one was hurt at all. Everyone was fine. The only thing that was hurt was pride, especially mine. My boat was damaged. It was there was a few scratches on the other person's boat, but mine, the guardrail was all bent. My backstay is still a little bit kind of bent. Well, not, but it's a flexible wire, obviously. But there's kind of a little like it's a bit wiggly. One of my stanchions came out. But that was my boyfriend's a panel beater, so he's really good with stuff like that. So he fixed it in like 20 minutes. So that saved me absolute fortune. And a bit of, a little bit of crack in fiberglass, but nothing. It's still fully sailable. No one was hurt. Everyone was fine. So there was no real drama there at all. I will race again, definitely. I think for me, I don't know. There's a lot of boats you can see from the photo. There's a lot of boats packed in tightly together. There's a lot of rules. And I think what sailing means to me is very different. For me, sailing takes me away from rules. It takes me away from confinement. Um, and a racing is rules and confinement, whereas for me, I think sailing means freedom. As the other club members headed back in after the race, I headed out to get some practice in. I haven't actually set up my auto helm yet, so Matt came out with me, spending most of the time on the helm. I wanted to see how much I'm actually capable of and if I can take this boat out alone in the future. Today we've got a westerly wind blowing 10 knots, which is ideal sailing conditions. Legal Action doesn't have an electronic wind instrument, and as I'm used to sailing previously with a preventer line, I always find my eyes glued to the wind decks up above, even though the wind is actually really steady. Once I got my confidence back on the helm, I decided it was time to practice some tacking and jibing. This is the first time I've really had to think about actually managing the mainsail and the head sail by myself. And as I learned on this little trip out, the timing is everything. Probably all noticed by now that I haven't actually put my fenders in either. It wasn't an issue for me that day. One of the things I love most about Legal Action is that I've learned so much about how just by tweaking the sails you can just improve the power and speed of the boat so much. Didn't learn anything like that on my day skipper practical. So I've been so lucky to have sailed with the members at my yacht club and also the previous owner of Legal Action, who've really opened me up to working with the sails in a lot more detail. Legal Action has a vang instead of a top-end lift, which is basically a thin metal bar that goes from the bottom of the mast up to the boom to keep the boom up. As the kicking strap is just in front of the vang, this makes using the boom to add extra tension to the sail really difficult. You can see I'm using all my body weight here to pull down, and Matt has still had to help me. I'm thinking possibly I could use a makeshift line, perhaps with a loop on the end, and tie that to the end of the boom to pull the other end down at the same time in future. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'll give it a try, I guess. First on the shopping list for me is going to be some kind of self-tailing mechanisms for my winches if I can find them. I realise now how spoilt I've been in the past with self-tailing winches. They make life so much easier and save so much time and energy. Sailed back up the channel to the yacht club, I had one final battle with my arch nemesis, the outboard engine. Who on earth invented that pulling mechanism, and what were they thinking? The head sail on legal action is hanked or self-hanking. I'm not sure what the correct term is. Basically, there's no roller furling. So when you want to put the head sail up, you have to feed it through the track and hoist it up. And when you want to bring it down, you have to let down the halyard and pull it down yourself. I've had a go with this a few times now, and it's not, although at first I was horrified, it's not actually as bad as what I thought it was. Well, in light winds anyway. Never tried it when it's really, really windy. I am still debating whether to add a roller furling, so yeah, I'm thinking about it, we'll see. I've recently moved on to a different pontoon for the winter, so this was only my second attempt at berthing legal action. I'm in a pretty tight space, as you'll see coming up, so I decided not to go in on engine. I got my bow pointed in the right direction and put it straight into neutral, and then just walk the boat in. I thought that was much safer. If you've made it this far in the video, then I'd like to thank you for staying tuned with me until the end. I'm also really grateful for all the people who subscribed and who've commented and taken the time to write responses and give me advice. It's and just communicate in general. It's really appreciated. So thank you so much, and see you next time.